Coming up next, the Sport Report. We cover all of the news and the results from the night before in the sports world. Become an expert on sports in under 15 minutes. Today, Chandler with Sports covers the MLB games as well as some soccer from yesterday.
Hey TJ, what's going on? I'm Chandler. Hey TJ, what's going on? I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports. And I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports.
Welcome to a special edition of this all-crazy sports newscast.
Hey everybody, I'm Chandler with Sports and this is the Sport Report.
Chandler with Sports is how he wants to go. With is his middle name, Sports his last name.
I want to get you out the door with every result from every league in under 15 minutes so that you're more informed about what's going on in the world of sports. With that in mind, here we go. Hit it, Blaze.
This is the Sport Report.
Sunday, September 1st, 2019. Hey everybody, I'm Chandler with Sports and this is the Sport Report. Before we jump into the results from yesterday, let's catch up on the top story of the night. This is top of the order.
Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow. Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl.
I don't believe what I just saw.
This is top of the order.
Our top story comes from Fort Worth, Texas, where Auburn and Oregon went head-to-head. No, not TCU, though TCU will play in Fort Worth a lot of times this season. This was a neutral site game between the number 11 and number 16 teams in the country. And number 11 Oregon led number 16 Auburn late into the game before Auburn true freshman quarterback Bo Nix helped lead a drive towards the end of the game, and with 9 seconds to go, the Tigers scored a touchdown. It's their first go-ahead touchdown in a game since 2013, the kick 6 against Alabama in the Iron Bowl. Last night in 2019, it wins the game for the Auburn Tigers. Fun fact about Bo Nix, after the 2011 title game, Cam Newton, the quarterback for the Auburn Tigers, jumped into the stands, and there's a photo of little Bo Nix standing next to Cam Newton, who was seated on the ledge while he was being mobbed by the fans. And you know who Auburn beat in that 2011 BCS championship game where Cam Newton jumped into the stands? Oregon. Might have been a little deja vu for Oregon Duck fans. 8 years later, Bo Nix leads his Auburn Tigers to a game-winning drive in Fort Worth, Texas, and gives the Oregon Ducks their first loss of the season, giving Auburn their first win of the season. That wasn't the only college football game, and you know what? I think it's time for a
college football update.
We'll pick up in Ames, Iowa, where number 21 Iowa State defeats Northern Iowa 29-26 in triple overtime. Number 24 Nebraska led South Alabama 28-7. South Alabama got back to within 7. Nebraska added a touchdown. They win 35-21. Alabama defeats Duke 42-3. Alabama's second ranked, only behind Clemson. And then Stanford, number 25, Stanford, defeats Northwestern 17-7 on a late fumble return for a touchdown. Three other notable results in the college football world yesterday. North Carolina defeats South Carolina as Mack Brown returns to Chapel Hill. He now has the second most wins in North Carolina history, making him one of 4 coaches in college football history to be in the top 2 in wins at multiple Power 5 schools. The Power 5 conferences being the Pac-12, the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC. He's also the top 2 in wins at Texas, a Big 12 school. The other 3 coaches to have multiple Power 5 schools where they're the top 2 in wins, Steve Spurrier, Bear Bryant, and Pop Warner. Boise State 36, Florida State 31. Florida State was 80-1 entering this game over the last 15 seasons when they led by 18 or more points. While they led 31-13 against Boise State, who then rattled off 23 in a row to win by 5. And finally, the University of Tennessee suffers their first home opener loss since 1983. Georgia State defeats Tennessee 38-30. Georgia State was 2-10 last season. They are now 1-0 this season. The college football slate will continue with Houston at number 4 Oklahoma in Norman, Oklahoma, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Then on Monday, number 9 Notre Dame faces off in Louisville against the Louisville Cardinals, who have a new head coach and a lot of new recruits. In addition to college football, there was some football on the calendar. Let's roll through it.
victory. And Solskjaer has won it. Manchester United have reached the promised land.
This is Off the Post, where we cover all of the news and results from the European big leagues and Major League Soccer.
We'll start in the English Premier League. Southampton won, Manchester United won. Manchester United went up early, Southampton equalized in the 58th minute, honours even at St. Mary's. Chelsea 2, Sheffield United 2. The newly promoted Sheffield United Blades trailed 2-0 to Chelsea through Tammy Abraham's brace. He becomes the first Englishman to have consecutive braces for Chelsea since his manager did it in 2010. Frank Lampard did it in January of 2010 for Chelsea. Crystal Palace 1, Aston Villa 0. Aston Villa had scored a goal late in the match, but because the referee blew his whistle instead of playing advantage, the goal does not stand, and Aston Villa do not take any points from Selhurst Park in London. Leicester City 3, Bournemouth 1. Manchester City 4, Brighton Hove Albion 0. Newcastle 1, Watford 1. West Ham United 2, Norwich City 0. Burnley 0, Liverpool 3. Liverpool are the only away side to have won a match in this match day. There are 2 other matches to be played later today. In other news from other leagues, in France, Lyon 1, Bordeaux 1. In Germany, Bayer Leverkusen 0, Hoffenheim 0. Bayern Munich 6, Mainz 1. Union Berlin 3, Borussia Dortmund 1. Schalke 3, Hertha Berlin 0. In La Liga, newcomers Osasuna hold Barcelona to a 2-2 draw. In Italy, Juventus get a late own goal from Koulibaly to defeat Napoli 4-3. In Portugal, Sporting CP 2, Rio Ave 3. In Russia, Lokomotiv Moscow 1, Rostov 2. In Major League Soccer, New York Red Bulls 0, Colorado Rapids 2. Columbus Crew 1, Chicago Fire 1. Montreal Impact 0, DC United 3. New England Revolution 1, Toronto FC 1. Philadelphia Union 3, Atlanta United 1. Joseph Martinez scores lone goal for Atlanta United in his 13th consecutive game with a goal, still an MLS record. FC Dallas 3, FC Cincinnati 1. Sporting Kansas City 1, Houston Dynamo 0. Vancouver Whitecaps 1, New York City FC 3. Portland Timbers 1, Real Salt Lake 0. Finally, San Jose Earthquakes 3, Orlando City 0. With soccer covered, let's head to the Diamond for Major League Baseball.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
And Carlton Fisk had a lot of little boy in him right there.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Touch 'em all, Joe.
Home run! Mike Piazza! Jeter backhands from the outfield grass. Got it! Man, what a play!
Now from Major League Baseball.
The MLB lineup from yesterday includes 16 games.
It's 16 games due to a doubleheader between the Reds and the Cardinals, and the Cardinals get both games in the doubleheader. 10-6 in the first game, Dakota Hudson improves to 14-6 on the season for the Cardinals. Trevor Bauer falls to 10-12 on the season for the Reds. In the second game, Cardinals 3, Reds 2. John Gant is 10-0 on the season for the Cardinals. Raisel Iglesias falls to 2-11 after the Cardinals walked off in the bottom half of the 9th inning, thanks to Matt Carpenter's single to score Yadier Molina. Toronto Blue Jays 6, Houston Astros 4. Clay Buchholz gets his first win of the season for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's 1-3 on the year. Kevon Biggio had a 2-run home run in this game for the Toronto Blue Jays against his dad's former team. His dad is Craig Biggio, a member of the 3000 Hit Club, as well as a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. New York Mets 6, Philadelphia Phillies 3. Steven Matz improves to 9-8 for the Mets. Jason Vargas falls to 6-7 against his former team. Wilson Ramos also had 4 hits for the Mets in this game. Tampa Bay Rays 9, Cleveland Indians 6. Zach Plesac falls to 7-5 for the Indians. Emilio Pagan gets his 16th save for the Rays, who hit 4 homers in this game. Detroit Tigers 10, Minnesota Twins 7. The Twins were 49-0 in franchise history when they hit 5 or more home runs in a game. Well, they hit 6 homers in this game to set a Major League Baseball record for most homers in a season, 268 now, but they also suffered a loss. They're 49-1 when hitting at least 5 homers in a game. Matthew Boyd improves to 7-10 for the Tigers. Martin Perez falls to 9-6 for the Twins. Kansas City Royals 7, Baltimore Orioles 5. Ian Kennedy gets his 24th save of the season for the Royals, who scored the tying run in the 7th and their 2 winning runs in the 8th. Atlanta Braves 11, Chicago White Sox 5. Dallas Keuchel improves to 6-5 with a 3.72 ERA for the Braves. Reynaldo Lopez falls to 8-12 for the Southsiders. Texas Rangers 3, Seattle Mariners 2. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa had a walk-off single in the bottom half of the 9th inning after the Rangers had tied the game in the bottom of the 9th as well. Arizona Diamondbacks 6, LA Dodgers 5. Robbie Ray improves to 12-7 for the Diamondbacks. Clayton Kershaw falls to 13-4 for the Dodgers. Archie Bradley has his 10th save for Arizona. San Diego Padres 4, San Francisco Giants 1. Kirby Yates gets his 39th save of the season. The Padres have more saves than they do actual wins in non-save situations. They have 39 saves compared to 24 victories outside of saves. Pittsburgh Pirates 11, Colorado Rockies 4. The Rockies are now 59-78 and officially the second worst team in the National League, behind the Pittsburgh Pirates, who they've lost 3 in a row to. Josh Bell hits his 35th homer of the season, and from what I read, it surely would have been in the Allegheny River in Pittsburgh. Rather, this was at Coors Field, so it was on its way to the South Platte River. Found that from one of BSN Rockies reporters on Twitter. Milwaukee Brewers 2, Chicago Cubs nothing. Junior Guerra improves to 8-4 on the season for the Brew Crew, who scored the 2 lone runs in this game in the top half of the first inning. Cole Hamels falls to 7-5 for the Cubbies. Josh Hader gets his 27th save for the Brew Crew. And then the Red Sox. They got away with it last night, but we have an RBI. No, not a run batted in, but rather a Red Sox bullpen implosion. 2 nights ago, the Red Sox blew a 6-4 lead in the 9th inning, but won the game in the 15th thanks to a Mookie Betts home run. Last night, they led 4-3 entering the 8th. Then, the Angels scored 7 runs. Ryan Brazier's credited with the loss. He's 2-4 on the season, but the Red Sox bullpen collapsed once again. They lose 10-4 to the LA Angels. Finally, before we go, one notable result from the tennis world. They are at Flushing Meadows in New York for the US Open. We'll have Sport Report tennis correspondent Ben Finlow on next week to discuss the US Open, but we wanted to mention something on the ladies' half of the draw. In the third round match between Japan's Naomi Osaka, who's the number 1 player in the world and the defending champion, and 15-year-old American Coco Gauff, these two played a great match, and Osaka wins 6-3, 6-love, but after the match, she said some kind words to Gauff as they held a joint press conference, which is almost unheard of in sports. Congrats to both players on a hard-fought match. Osaka moves on to the round of 16, which begins today. She'll play her match on Monday. That's the Sport Report for Sunday, September 1st, 2019.
For now, I'm Chandler.
Thanks for tuning into the Sport Report today. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest in sports. In the words of Jack Buck, who is one of the best broadcasters of his generation,
And we'll see you tomorrow night.
so let it be written, so let it be done. See you next time on The Sport Report.
Do you want to contact Chandler with sports, have thoughts on sports, or questions about advertising on the Sport Report? Find us on Twitter or Instagram at Sport Report CWS for either social media site.
This podcast is copyrighted by The Sport Report for viewers to understand sports from a news reporting basis. Any other use of this podcast, Sport Report logos, or anything associated with this podcast without the express written consent of Chandler with Sports is strictly prohibited.